Why hello there everyone, it is I, Epic Spotify, and today we're back with another episode to What If Naruto Became a Mercenary, or as I like to call it, What If Naruto Left the Hidden Leaf, version 5 I think. This is probably the 5th time I've done this topic. I enjoy it a lot, thank you very much. So, let's get into it I suppose. Now, we left the last episode with Naruto leaving the Hidden Leaf village while distracting Danzo and the people of the route with a shadow clone of his, as he found out that Sakura was going to lure him to a place where he was about to be murdered. Now Sakura has no remorse because she's a cold-hearted bitch, so it didn't surprise him in the least. I suppose that's the best way to put it. Now let's get into what happens in this episode. Now, after Naruto left the Hidden Leaf village, he went around the various forests and around the Land of Fire. Eventually, he managed to stumble across a destroyed village of sorts, which used to be the Whirlpool village. Now, Naruto, before leaving the Hidden Leaf, had read a few scrolls that were left to him by the third Hokage. Now, these were scrolls that were left to the third Hokage by Minato for Naruto. There's a bit of a thingy there. Naruto never read the scrolls because they never interested him, but now, figuring, well, might as well, don't have much else to do, he decides to read them. In the scroll, he finds the knowledge that there was another village where the Uzumaki clan originated from, and where there is a safe house for Naruto to live in if things get dicey in the Hidden Leaf. Now, third Hokage gave Naruto this scroll as a last precaution, that in case the Hokage himself dies and things go south, Naruto can use this to stay safe. Now, Danzo himself within the Hidden Leaf is currently pissed off as all hell, as he just got bamboozled by a 12-year-old child. Naruto essentially used a shadow clone to lower Danzo's guard, as Danzo didn't expect Naruto to have that kind of ability, as not many people were actually privy to it. Danzo managed to fall for it, and Naruto, using the shadow clone as a distraction, managed to leave. Danzo, in the Hidden Leaf itself, is currently reprimanding the various root ninjas that were looking after him. Naruto was supposed to keep an eye on Naruto, I suppose. That's the best way to put it. I've said that same line twice now, fuck me. Anyway, now, Naruto leaving the Hidden Leaf village is obviously going to be a moment of momentous joy for everyone in the Hidden Leaf itself. The villagers are celebrating, all that jazz. A few of the students are actually sad, including Shikamaru and Choji, who actually knew Naruto was about to leave the Hidden Leaf, as he visited them right before he did. And what else is there? The third Hokage himself put a minor search party out, but he believed that if Naruto didn't wish to be found, he had no right in trying to search for him at this point. He didn't do much of a job raising him, so might as well let Naruto be free. Now, Danzo's plans essentially crumbled with Naruto not dying, the QB not being transferred into somebody else, and the Hidden Leaf itself is a bit more of a target now. Not as much, but a bit more of a target, as it just lost its... essentially, the leaf lost their nuke, more or less. Now, Naruto, as he reaches... Let's go back to Naruto, I suppose, yes. Naruto, as he reaches the Whirlpool village, I think that's what it was called, he finds, more or less a village in ruins. Now, Naruto finds a few people here and there who are nothing more than bounty hunters who hunt rogue ninjas, and ninjas who have bounties in the bingo books, and they give their heads for money. Naruto himself is not in the bingo books, as well, he's a child, and they didn't want to release the fact that Naruto's disappeared from the Hidden Leaf to the world, as that would bring more eyes on the leaf, and it would not be good attention, is what I'm trying to say. Naruto, he kind of gets involved with these groups, as they're mostly chill. They don't really care for Naruto, as he doesn't have a bounty on him, so why bother? They see that Naruto has a crossed out Hidden Leaf headband, so they figure he's a rogue ninja, but since he is a child, they figure not much of a bounty, so why do anything to him? Naruto just, he trains alone and with these people for the next few years. About 3 years pass when Naruto's about 16 years old right now. Or is it 15? 4 years pass when Naruto's training with his shadow clones, looking through the safe house that Minato left him, and here he figures out that Naruto himself is actually the son of Minato, the 4th Hokage, and he's a Uzumaki, all that jazz, what he can do, various scrolls of multiple jutsus, and he learns a few of them as well. Now, I do like to do this, so let's give Naruto's ability list here a bit of a well, let's just look over what Naruto's learned the past 4 years. He's improved his taijutsu to incredible capacity, as he does have his shadow clone, and fighting with them every single day would improve his abilities exponentially within a few months, let alone 4 years. So he is probably one of the top tier taijutsu combatants in the world. One of them, not really. Guy would probably beat his ass. So would most of the high tier Jonin in the Hidden Leaf, but he is still pretty good. What else is there? I suppose he would learn some Fireball Jutsu, the Fire Phoenix Jutsu. He would learn the Water Dragon Jutsu. He would obviously start looking through the Rasengan, as those would probably be within the scrolls that were left to him by Minato. He would start experimenting with the Rasengan, creating Fire Rasengans, Air Rasengans, shit like that. So that would probably be involved in there as well. I could see him learning. What else would he learn? I could see him, tapping into Kurama's power, having a few conversations here and there. Those would definitely help him. Now let's continue on with the story again. At this point, Naruto receives word that Orochimaru is hiring people. Now, he knows who Orochimaru is because he's read about him through multiple scrolls and various sources that have told him about this Orochimaru character. Now, Orochimaru is essentially hiring various rogue ninjas from around the world to attack the Hidden Leaf. Now, Naruto being slightly involved with this mercenary group that is currently squatting around the Whirlpool village, he finds out about this through them. Let's say one of the people is a Kai. What would his surname be? Let's just go for Kai right now. We can figure the surname later. If any of you want to give him a surname, it's up to you, I suppose. Let's give him one of yours. Anyway, so Kai tells Naruto that, well, Naruto, you see, there's this guy, Orochimaru. Sure you've heard of him. One of the Sanin. He's currently put out a bit of a contract, you see. Anyone who works with him to take down the Hidden Leaf, or at least attack it, is going to get a decent amount of gold. Naruto, upon hearing this, does feel a bit conflicted, because while he does despise everybody in the Hidden Leaf, there are people in there that he does care for. For example, he does like the third Hokage. He does care for a few of his friends. So Naruto decides, you know what, Kai, I've got my own plans. I think you should tell everyone else to not get involved with Orochimaru this time around. Something tells me it's gonna fail hard. Now Naruto, he, to hide his identity, he's dyed his hair red to appear more like an Uzumaki. Now his hair is growing a bit longer as well, and he's got a fox mask that he wears on top of his, his face, to cover his face. Because he is a bounty hunter and he does hunt down rogue ninjas as well. Some of them he just assimilates into his own little village growing over there. Some of them, who are a bit more dangerous and do not want to be assimilated, well, they die and their heads get sent to the village that's paying for them, more or less. Dead or alive. Whatever the circumstance is, if it's dead or alive, they're probably going to go back dead. If it's only alive, they're probably going to go back alive. Though worse for wear, I suppose. Now, Naruto, upon hearing Orochimaru's plans, decides to, object to it rather harshly, I suppose. Now, a few days, say about a week, before Orochimaru's attack, Naruto decides to start his plan of dismantling this attack completely. Now, Naruto has information on more or less what groups are involved with this. He sees if any of them have any bounties on their heads, and those who do, well, the bounty is about to be checked in. Naruto manages to capture about 35 rogue ninjas and cash the bounty on their head, which does make him a bit popular with various villages around the area. He gives them a fake name, obviously. He gives them the name of the Fox because of the mask that he wears. And, they're kind of happy. The Fox bounty hunter, he's pretty goddamn good. He brought us a lot of ninjas and he gets paid well. So that's that, I suppose. And now suddenly, about 35 ninjas, when they disappear from your ranks, you realize something's wrong. Now Orochimaru notices this as well, but the main group, I suppose, is the people that are the people that are already in the Hidden Leaf, which are the Genin from the Sound Village, who are trying to get into the Chunin exams, who are within the Chunin exams right now. Now Orochimaru still has about 5 or 6 close people that he's going to involve in this attack. And he's going to hope that they're going to be enough, because Orochimaru himself is probably going to be enough for a decent few other people. Now, as he goes within the village itself and the attack begins, I suppose I should say, Naruto also enters the village hidden. Now, disguises himself, enters the village. Now, well, Danzo, well, he's a cunt, so I suppose he's not going to help out much. He's going to protect the nobles, I suppose you should say, and the head ministers of the Hidden Leaf, that, you know, the fucking people from the fire, the council. Yes, he's going to protect the council and the old people, and himself, that's about it. The other people can go to hell for all he cares. Now, the third Hokage and, you know, the battle against Orochimaru, it starts on the rooftops, and Orochimaru, as he begins to resurrect the previous Hokages, the battle gets more and more intense, and the Sound Four, I suppose, the Sound Four that were creating these barriers around the third Hokage get in place, and the barriers get up. Now, the Jonin are busy with a few of the other people that Orochimaru brought along with him, and a few of the reincarnations of the dead bodies that Orochimaru managed to bring in as well. Due to this, mostly, Asuma and Kurenai, they couldn't get involved because they're busy fending off other people, and they're also busy trying to safeguard the village. Now, fortunately, not a lot of people managed to get involved in this attack, so the chaos isn't as bad, mostly thanks to Naruto. Now, Naruto, he sees this gigantic red pillar set off in the sky, and he thinks, that might be where they are. So he moves towards that area where he sees the Sound Four that are currently there. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Sand as well that was involved in this attack, and a decent few of the people whose bounties and bingo books were checked were from the Sound, so the Sound's forces are more or less demolished at this point. However, Gaara is inside, you know, wreaking havoc against Sasuke. I think that would be how the tuning exams would go in Naruto's absence. And no, so yes, I forgot to mention, Rock Lee does not die at the hands of Gaara as well. Now, Gaara goes berserk, so there's this gigantic tailed beast that Naruto sees, and he creates about 3 Shadow Clone to go deal with him. And himself, with his main body, goes to the giant pillar of red. Naruto manages to take out the Sound Four without much difficulty, considering he is much ahead in his training than any of these people. He's currently, I'd say, a mid-Jonin fighter already. He can't beat Kakashi, Guy, and people like those in a straight head-to-head fight, but he can take care of most of the Jonins other than them, I suppose, yes. Now, he manages to make quick work of the Sound Four, which means the barrier falls down, and he gets involved in the fight against Orochimaru. Now, the moment the barrier falls down, Orochimaru realizes, wait, what the fuck, that's not supposed to happen. And when he sees this guy in a false mask appear, he instantly realizes who it is, because Naruto has been gathering a bit of a reputation over the years outside of Orochimaru's influence as an intense bounty hunter. And since Orochimaru did want to hire people from the group that Naruto is sometimes involved with, he hoped that Naruto would also be involved in it. Now, Orochimaru sees Naruto, who he knows as the Fox, mostly because of the mask and the red hair, and he asks, "You fox, why are you getting involved? I thought you didn't care for people of this village." And well, Naruto, masking his voice a bit, and because it is 4 years on, so he's hit puberty by now, so that's fortunate, I suppose, does tell him, "Well, Orochimaru, you see, I have a vested interest in the well-being of a few people in this village, so I should say. So I would like it if you could, leave the place alone, go back home and rest in your little den with your snake friends." Orochimaru says, "Fuck that noise," and starts attacking Naruto as well. Now, the third Hokage, he finds Naruto a bit familiar, but doesn't know who it is. He mostly just welcomes somebody else fighting alongside him so he doesn't die. Now, when the, 2 Hokages were brought up, which are the first Hokage and the third Hokage, Orochimaru figures they're going to be enough. Now, they're clearly not, and with Naruto's involvement, he figures he needs to bring out his trump card, so he brings up the 4th Hokage's box. Naruto, the moment he sees this, jumps straight in front of the box and uses a sealing jutsu to seal the box up so it doesn't happen, so he doesn't get released more or less. Now, the first Hokage and the second Hokage, they're impressed by this, and they say, "Well, kid, that was a brilliant job you did there." I can't do his voice, I'm sorry. "Now, if you could only seal us as well, it would be much appreciated." And, Naruto is like, "Well, working on it, I suppose. If you would die, that would be helpful as well." And they begin fighting as well. Now, Orochimaru, at this point, he started to get overwhelmed, and because Naruto's clone had gone towards Gaara's side as well as Actually, look at that fight right now. Now, Gaara, in his tailed beast form, he wrecks Sasuke easily. Sasuke doesn't stand a chance. I'm sorry, he doesn't. He's about to get killed when Sakura's screaming at the set, Sasuke-kun, motherfucker, I can't do it. Sasuke-kun. Yeah, there you go. When three masked ninjas with red hair come across all of a sudden and block the punch. Now, Gaara, who's still partly awake, partly sleeping, is surprised by this and he goes, "What the hell are you?" Yeah, that works, why not? I can't do voices anymore, what the fuck happened to me? Anyway, Naruto says, I'm a friend, and he starts attacking Gaara, as friends do. At this point, Sasuke is surprised at the strength of this person who looks more or less his own age, a bit older perhaps, but he is surprised at how well he's handling this beast, so he assumes this is probably a journey from other villages or from the leaf itself that he just doesn't know about. And he kind of relaxes for a while, which I'm sure you would do as well if you found somebody just come along and, stop this gigantic murderous beast that was about to kill you. Now at this point, Naruto and Gaara's fight begins, and Naruto overwhelms Gaara relatively easily at this stage. The three Shadow Clones create about 20 Shadow Clones of their own and attack Gaara in multiple stages. Now Naruto is wiser than he was in the original, so he knows how he would defeat an opponent such as Gaara, who is currently attached to Shukaku as he's trying to take over his body. Very simple. Separate Gaara from the Shukaku body dissolves, and Gaara is just a man, so he can be taken down fairly easily. The clones get into it get involved right away, creating Rasengans and launching those Rasen Shurikens, I suppose. I think that was what it was called, the air Rasengan, wind Rasengan, I suppose. So they launch those at Shukaku's feet, which easily take care of those. And as Shukaku falls a bit lower, the clones jump towards Gaara's body and start punching him really harshly. Gaara brings up his sand to try and defend himself, but Naruto is simply faster than Gaara is and manages to take him down with relative ease, I suppose. As Gaara is brought down, he's like, "What the fuck are you?" And Naruto, well, he takes Gaara and he disappears from where he was, because he believes if Gaara is left here, he would probably be tried for murder and would not be wise to leave such a boy alive. Sorry, such a boy to die. Fuck me. He sympathizes with Gaara to some degree because he himself has a tail beast and he knows how people get persecuted for that. So, in order to more or less save Gaara, Naruto takes him and disappears. Now, as Naruto disappears with Gaara, his Temari and Kankuro, both of them, were surprised by the sudden appearance and disappearance of Gaara and this masked man with red hair. They're a bit worried because their brother just disappeared. Now Naruto, he knows about the Sand siblings because he knows about the Sand village. He's had dealings with them in the past. He sees those two and he believes, I think they should probably come along, emotional support for Gaara. So he, one of his clones goes towards them and he says, "If you want to find your brother, come with me," and they leave with him as well, leaving Sasuke stunned as fuck, Sakura swooning over Sasuke, I suppose, and everybody else just surprised as to who was this guy in a mask that came along and just defeated the one-tailed beast without much issue. Now, Naruto and the third Hokage in the other side of the village are fighting when Kakashi managed to enter the fray as well after dealing with the people that were bothering him. And because there weren't a lot of people, and since Gaara just disappeared out of nowhere, the Sand lost their will to fight and they just gave up, seeing the writing on the wall that the battle's already lost. Now Kakashi managed to reach the third Hokage first because he saw where the third Hokage was fighting, and he's surprised to see the third Hokage is doing rather well, fighting against the first Hokage, the second Hokage, and Orochimaru alongside a red-haired man. Now, Kakashi gets involved in the fight as well, but by this time, they're more or less cleaning up, I suppose you should say. After injuring the first Hokage and the second Hokage relatively well, or quite a bit, I suppose you should say, Naruto does manage to get them weak enough to a point where he can seal them, and the first Hokage and the second Hokage do praise him for this, saying, "Young man, you've done well in managing to seal us both. I see a great future for you." And the second Hokage being, "Well done, kid." They both disappear into, well, papers, I suppose. That's the stealing Naruto uses. He steals people in paper and gets them in scrolls, stuffs them in the backpack, and walks away. Now, Orochimaru at this point, he's bleeding, he's almost dying, and he is scared as fuck because two Hokage just disappeared, and the Master Man in red is still there. God damn it, Fox. If you only worked with me, I could pay you more than they're paying you. Come on, I know you're a merc. Work with me here, man. And Naruto says, well, unfortunately for you, they're not paying me shit. I did this mostly because I felt I need to. I owed a few people a few things. Now I'd say we're even. And Naruto manages to beat Orochimaru quite a bit, and he escapes through reverse summonings. Kakashi at this point, stunned at who this man is, and the third Hokage as well, begins approaching the man, and Naruto simply turns to the third Hokage and says, well, my work here is done. And I suppose we should say we're even, old man. And Naruto disappears from there as well. Kakashi, well, he didn't follow because his Sharingan was closed, so he doesn't know where the man went. And the third Hokage, after hearing what the fox had to say, realizes who it was, and just smiles and nods. I suppose we are. If he feels Kakashi in on the situation, he believes the red-haired man to be Naruto, who simply came here because he felt he owed something to the third Hokage. And he does believe Naruto will not return to the leaf under any proper circumstance. After this whole battle ends, I suppose you should say, Naruto goes back to the whirlpool along with Temari and Kankuro, and he fills them in on the situation and what he plans to do with Gaara, which will be in the next episode, which is going to be out at some point in the future. Hopefully I'll see you then. Until then, peace out. Whoa. And yes, before I forget, I have been making quite a few art, or panels, I suppose you should say, for the what ifs that I'm doing nowadays. Hopefully, by the next episode, I'll have enough of them ready to where I can actually just show you what Naruto's character design looks like right now, and a few important beats in the story that have already happened. I do want to see if I can draw Naruto vs Sukaku, at least one panel, where Naruto attacks Shukaku and Gaara. And I do want to see if I can recreate a standoff between the first Hokage, the second Hokage, Orochimaru, and Naruto, and the third Hokage. Now, these are a bit rough for me because I'm not as good as I'd like to be by this point, so I'll see what I can do if I can make those. Otherwise, I already have a few art pieces ready, so I'll post those in the next video as well. Until then, I suppose I should say peace out, and I hope to see you then.